Hello everyone, welcome to episode 19 of the Drone Wars. So in front of us we can see the board and we can see where all the different factions are at. Looking at how things are, the new Galactic Alliance seems to be in a little bit of trouble as they're completely away from their home quadrant. They barely have any planets left. The Federation is definitely a big looming threat for them, but now they have to deal with the Pirate Empire, which is a bit different. The Federation, they're in the middle of the map. They're actually a small diagonal there. They're kind of just squished between all the other factions, so they need to figure out how to get a foothold there if they can. Delta Shipyards in the bottom left. It appears that their situation is kind of okay. They're mainly dealing with the other three factions around them, but they're managing to push them away. They are going to try to expand their pirate territory. On the other hand, the pirates really need to worry about that. They actually need to worry about the new Galactic Alliance just stabbing into their territory, the Federation pushing up against them, and then Delta Shipyards, which is also like piercing through their empire, so they need to figure out what to do with that. And the Great Red Sun Empire, right now they're kind of in the best spot considering they only have to deal with two factions right now. It's just the Federation and Delta Shipyards. And right now they're pretty open to expand either way. They even got access to an empty planet over there if they really wanted to go after it. Anyways, we're going to go through these factions through their turns and see what they do. Okay, so the first thing that the new Galactic Alliance is going to do, well, they only have so many planets and they really want more planets. So what they're going to do is they're going to take their fleet from there and move it over here. They're going to try to take it over Triton. Again, this planet is really strategic for some reason, as all the factions in this corner have been fighting over it constantly. But yeah, here they go. They're going after a fortress world. So it's just a fortress world versus a single carrier and their fighter escort. So we're going to see how that goes. Well, here we are. We're on Triton, we're in the mountain ranges, and well, here's a single carrier with their fighter escort. And if we go off into the distance over there, well, there's the fortress. So we're going to go and declare war and see what happens here. Because this is a really high elevation, I don't know if the carrier is going to do too well, but we're going to find out. Seems like only some of the fighters have actually detected the fortress here. I mean, I could probably like nudge them forward by a little bit to make them see the fortress a bit better. It seems like some of them are already getting close enough here to actually start getting shot at, so they're trying to move in here. And now the carrier is starting to move in. Hopefully they can take down that fortress before the main weapon takes it down. You can already see some fighters are falling from the sky there. And these fighters are starting to get within missile range here. Carrier is now starting to take some hits. Its shields are definitely holding on as best it can. It is now entering range. And here it should start firing its own missiles. does need to be careful. That main weapon is going to hit it really hard. It's quite a big hit, but the ship is still flying towards the base there. A lot of shots moving forward here. Space is doing everything it can to take out that carrier. These weapons are doing their best to try to take down that carrier, but that carrier's weapons are quickly overwhelming them. There's only one weapon left. It's just this one right here, just doing its best. Through the main gun there. I believe it's all because they're trying to go after that single turret there, which has just been completely obliterated. Okay, that's the fortress pretty much defeated. We're gonna go back to the board and update it. This is now Alliance territory. Alright, well, we're here back at the board. So over here you can see the Alliance now has this bit of territory here, which kind of just puts more strain on the Federation here as their territory is becoming a lot skinnier there. And of course the Alliance, they are feeling really, they're feeling really brave here. So what they're going to do is they're going to go ahead and move their other carrier fleet here. They're going to move it down here further into pirate territory, just going straight through. And they're going to take on this massive fleet here, which also happens to be a shipyard. So of course it's the single carrier versus a battleship, a frigate, and a lot of fighters. So we're going to see what happens here. Alright, we are here on the Earth-like planet. So over here we have, well, the new Galactic Alliance's fleet. It's just a single carrier, their Crusader carrier, with an escort of light fighters. Over here we have the Pirate Empire's defending fleet, which is one charger battleship, one rapier frigate, and a collection of fighters escorting it. We're going to go ahead and turn on damage here, and we're going to go ahead and declare war to see how this battle goes. It's almost immediately torpedoes are being fired over there. Those are going to be very dangerous if they're not dealt with. You can see fighters are starting to move in on both sides. You can see some of these missiles are already starting to get hit with the terrain, and I believe point defense systems should also start to kick in. Unless these torpedoes are going after fighters, that is. carrier here has taken some damage, but it is charging into battle. You can see his fighters are going in, distracting those main weapons. Point defense systems are kicking in immediately to try taking out those torpedoes, which are going to do a lot of damage. You can see there's a lot of anti-fighter weaponry going out and about here. They're really trying to focus on those fighters up there. Those fighters are firing as many missiles as they can. See, the carrier and the battleship are getting really close to each other here. I believe the battleship is going in for a ram. Well, that's really gonna hurt. Got a massive collision here as both ships just slam into each other here. That's not great for either one of them. Ships are just hitting each other at point blank range, which is not great. You can see the frigate over here is also trying to do what it can, but it's taking hits. So you can see the fighters are all just going around here. Some of them are targeting the fighters off in a distance here that have not quite joined the battle. Not sure what's going on with their AI right now. These two ships appear to be in a kind of gridlock here. And this is not looking great for that Crusader carrier, as it seems to be falling to the ground very, very rapidly. Both of these ships are getting very close to the ground, so they're going to start trying to stay up in the air. It seems like the pirates are trying to push the carrier to the ground, which is a smart strategy here. But there's a lot of gunfire coming out of the enemy ship there. There are still fighters up here that are trying their best to stay alive. They're not doing particularly well. There's a lot of missiles. They can only really do so much. It seems these carriers here are going to hit the ground at full speed, which is not great. All these ships are very close to the ground now. They're trying to stay airborne. They're kind of just locked into each other here, which is really bad. I mean, the good news about being locked together is that, well, it allows these cannons to do a lot more damage with extreme accuracy. They're inches away from the ground. It seems like the Crusader carrier is turning the tables here. Falling over sideways now, which is not great for either of them. See some fighters in the distance over there who decide to join the battle now. You can see missiles have been fired to take on the other ships over there. Hopefully they're able to actually destroy enough of each other's ships in order to detach themselves from each other. Seems like there's only a little bit left that need to detach in this area here. Even though they are locked together, they're still trying their best to stay afloat. There's a lot of gunfire going off trying to take out these other fighters off in the distance. Very quickly taking a lot of damage. Their AI blocks are pretty much just being torn out at this point. As you can see, there are fighters just pretty much in a dogfight over here with a frigate. They're very quickly being torn apart. They're doing their best. Two carriers are just rising up. Seems like they're nearly unstuck from each other. Pretty soon they might fall sideways, which is not good. There's entire chunks coming off of both ships here. They've almost unwedged themselves here. It seems like they might have just about detached themselves from each other. Yep, they're now separated. It seems that they're both falling now. The frigate has hit the ground over there, which is not great. There's still fighters up in the air trying to stay in battle. There are a lot of missiles here. Surprised the fighters out here are still alive and going. Lots of missiles everywhere. Seems like both ships are going to hit the ground pretty hard here, which is not good for either of them. There are so many missiles. But of course, the less fighters there are, the less missiles, so we're going to see that number lower down pretty soon. Seems like the Crusader is about to hit the ground. Not sure if its AI blocks are still active or not. Look at that. It appears to have detached the piece of ship that was on the carrier there. The battleship here is also about to hit the ground at high speed. It's been taking a lot of damage. And now the carrier is just getting back up while it's getting fired out by all the cannons. But he has unwedged all the stuff that was stuck on him, so it's good. You can see the battleship here is still trying to fly with whatever it's got left. Also, the lag has subsided as the debris that was inside the ship has just fallen out, so there's no more collisions constantly happening there. Even if the ship is on the ground, it's still very dangerous with those cannons. You can see those weapons are still trying to do whatever they can to take out that ship. You can see he's also trying to take out these fighters. There are still a lot of fighters out here. The sooner these fighters are eliminated, the better, because that's less missiles to deal with, and enemies overall. There's still torpedoes being fired. Appears like most of the fighters have been defeated now. There's still some alive, still trying their best. There's a lot of damage being done here. And they're going after those atmospheric thrusters, so that way the ship can no longer fly. And they're also taking care of the missiles, which is great. But there's still a lot of fighters around the place that need to be eliminated before they do some more damage. There's also that frigate in the distance over there that's still alive somehow. This carrier really needs to pick and choose his targets, otherwise he's gonna start sinking really quickly. Actually, I think he might be sinking already. His torpedoes are taking out more and more of the thrusters. I'm still trying to fly. Still got it. It's gone to an angle where most of his weapons can now fire. It's going to be very helpful with taking out a lot of this stuff. I think they're trying to take out this missile launcher over here. Yep, one less missile launcher to deal with. That'll be fantastic. They do need to deal with those torpedoes, so because if they don't do something about those torpedoes, then they're guaranteed to lose. And it still has a forward-facing torpedo over here as well. You see, at some point, defense systems are trying to go onto the torpedoes before they hit. It seems to be looking like the carrier is not quite flight capable anymore. He's lost a lot of his larger atmospheric thrusters here. Well, he's lost one of them. The torpedo strikes. And a lot of his upwards thrusters are being lost, especially the large ones. Seems like that ship is pretty much sunk. It's not getting up anytime soon. So look at the ships that remain. We're gonna look at all the fighters that are still alive. You got a frigate still alive. You got a fighter still alive over here. All those fighters are on the ground. Is this one still alive? No. So just a single frigate and the fighter survived. Alright, we're gonna go back to the board and update it here. Alright, we are back at the board. So, the new Galactic Alliance failed to take over this world from the pirates, and of course the pirate fleet has been reduced to just the frigate and the fighter. So yeah, that's a little bit easier to deal with. So yeah, that's the new Galactic Alliance's turn done. Now the Federation, what they've decided to do. The Federation decided to do 3 things, which is all their actions. They've decided to upgrade this shipyard over here to level 2, which allows them to build fleets up to 10 ships there. Then they did the next best thing, and, well, they didn't really have much money left, so they decided to make 2 fleets of entirely fighters. That's 20 fighters over there, 10 per fleet. I'm guessing those fleets are just going to be used to just, you know, slowly spread out in areas that are undefended or something. I'm not quite sure what their plan is there, but I guess they just made those. And then again, fighters can be very dangerous in large numbers, so maybe they're doing it as a counter to corvettes and stuff. I don't quite know. Now, Delta Shipyards over here, their first action is to send one of the fleets on this planet over here to the pirate homeworld, and they're going to attack the homeworld with a battleship and 2 fighters. And of course the homeworld is defended by a couple of frigates and a fighter, so we're going to see how that goes. This is going to happen on the moon craters. Alright, so here we are. It's the battle for the pirates' homeworld. So out here we have the Pirate Empire's defending fleet, which is just some frigates and a single fighter. And they're going to be going against a single battleship and 2 fighters. So we're going to go ahead and actually before I do that, let me make sure damage is enabled. There we go. And now we can declare war. So now all these ships are going to begin moving towards their targets. And all those missiles are just zapped away. Now all these ships are starting to move in very quickly. There's already some shots starting to be fired. There's a lot of shots coming from this battleship over here. Railguns are going to be extremely dangerous, and all that cannon fire is going to do even more damage. So all these fighters need to be careful. So you can see those railguns are starting to do a lot of damage to them. Battleship is trying to do some evasive maneuvers there. There's a massive collision there. That's not great. These frigates are really going in trying to do as much damage as possible. They're just stabbing into the battleship there. That's a lot of damage. That battleship is in a really, really bad spot. Battleship there is very quickly being torn apart. I think some of his weapons are trying to target that fighter over there. He does have other targets he needs to focus on. He doesn't sink. That damage is not healthy at all. He might actually fall to the ground here if he isn't careful. He's still trying to stay airborne. Taking a lot of damage. So he's very quickly being hollowed out here. Lots of his thrusters are just being removed. Oh, the cannon fire. He's trying to do whatever damage he can in return. There's just so many parts of this ship coming apart. This ship is nearly split in half at this point. So yeah, it looks like a battleship cannot do very well against multiple frigates. Yep. That ship is definitely feeling all that, and now it's starting to sink. There is nothing left. And yeah, that's about it for this battle. I think, yeah, there were 0 casualties in this battle at all. The Pirate Empire still has all of their ships. So we're going to go and update that on the board and see what the Delta Shipyards does about that. Alright, here we are. So Delta Shipyards failed to take over the pirate homeworld, which is unfortunate. But of course, Delta Shipyards has a backup plan. So they know that there's a large concentration of ships here, and so they want to weaken the Pirate Empire's forces. So they sent over their small carrier fleet around behind the homeworld. You can see here, there's a lot of ships here, lots of frigates, lots of battleships. It's quite a lot here. They're going to take the number of the battleship and a carrier to weaken that force over there. So I'll give them a bit of an advantage in taking on the Pirate Empire. So this is happening on Pertam in the rock fields. So this is going to be quite an interesting battle. I'll see you guys down there. Alright, here we are. We're on Pertam and the rock fields, and this is quite a lot. So over here we can see the Delta Shipyards is just sending these 2 very large ships with, of course, some fighters that come from the carrier. And on the opposite side we have the Pirate Empire Armada here, which is quite a few ships. There's a bunch of fighters over there that are also escorting them. So we're going to go ahead and turn on damage and declare war. Okay, that's already on. We're going to go ahead and see who wins this fight, or at least which ships are lost. I already know for a fact that there's going to be a lot of casualties on both sides, probably. Probably. You know, we see lots of these fighters are trying to move in. Though they don't have the best AI, they're still trying their best. It appears that there are torpedoes firing in both directions here, so there's a lot more coming from the pirate side. Point defense systems are definitely kicking in to try to take out all these. The fighters are also starting to move in here. It's going to be a very dangerous encounter here. There's a lot of missile-based ships, so this is definitely going to lag my computer quite a bit. There's a lot of frigates here as well. The gravity is somewhat heavy, so some ships might be lost from the planetary gravity more than anything else, but we're still going to see what happens. Lots of torpedoes coming in. You can see there are fighters trying to move in, although they are being shot at. A lot of them are being shot at. This battleship over here is going to do the most damage to those fighters, considering it has a lot of anti-fighter systems. You can already start to feel the lag from all the missiles being fired, because there are a lot of fighters moving in. See, the carrier is trying to sit back over here because they're trying to move to the side to flank, while this battleship is moving in, taking the most damage. Those torpedoes are very lethal. Fighters are moving in, trying to go into a dogfight in the middle here, which, I don't know, it's going to be so many missiles being fired that I don't know if they're going to do particularly well. You could definitely see lots of the anti-fighter systems are starting to kick in. There's a lot going on here. Actually, because the battleship over there is sinking a little bit, it is actually doing some damage to the other battleship here, which might hit the ground before it even gets close, because it is going very low here. It is actually getting dangerously low, which is not good for him at all. You can see over there that the carrier is starting to hit him with long-range railgun shots, which I think might have actually punctured one of the main thrusters somewhere, which is why he's falling so quickly. That combined with the high gravity is not a very good combination at all. You can see how here the fighters are still getting closer. It seems like the that carrier is doing as best it can with all his railguns. Definitely aiming at all these different ships around here. That long-range play is actually really smart, so that helps out a lot. In the meantime, this battleship out here is just tearing through all these fighters. There's pretty much like nothing left of the fighters, so they're just moving in. So they're also starting to fire at the other fighters in the distance over here, which, as you can see, are not doing particularly well. They're definitely trying, but they're not doing well. Well, it appears that this battleship is actually still going up now. Both battleships are on the move here. I'm actually surprised that the Phantom is still alive here. Still alive and flying. It is turning now to try to go after this other battleship that I just flew past. It seems like the Charger is starting to switch targets, going after the Eidolon over there. The Eidolon is still keeping its distance, trying to take out as many fighters as possible. Although the destroyer Vega there is doing a lot of damage. There are still fighters out here trying their best to join the fight here. It appears that some of the torpedoes are going after the fighters. These fighters are taking a lot of damage here. Seems like the Charger battleship here is about to hit the ground. Yep, definitely hit the ground. You see some frigates in the distance are taking hits. And that battleship is just kind of sitting there trying to do as much damage as it can to all these frigates. It's mostly just absorbing all the damage as best it can. Which, even though it looks heavily damaged, it's still flying really well. So that's a bit of a surprise. Definitely a lot of shots coming after this ship over here. Just doing its best to dodge. It's also trying to take all these other fighters around the place. And all these long-range shots going all the way across the field and hitting these frigates are doing quite a lot of damage to them. If it hits them just right, then they might sink. It's actually crazy that this battleship is still alive. It's taking on all these ships at once. It's basically just absorbing everything. Still flying upwards in the middle of all this. Now that Eidolon over there is going to need to climb up a little bit away from the terrain and try to do as much damage as he can to everything else here. He is starting to take railgun shots from the other battleship over there, so he needs to fight back really soon. He is trying to fire railguns at the battleship that's on the ground here to try to take out their torpedoes. Because this ship is definitely one of the more dangerous ones here. I think this battleship is now starting to sink, and some of the ships are starting to switch targets now. Now we can see a destroyer Vega is now trading targets. And he knows that that ship is probably going to be handled by everyone else pretty well. So he's going after the carrier, which is trying to keep its distance still. And now they're just trading shots here. And that battleship over there is definitely going down. There's a lot of railgun being exchanged over here. The thing is that the Destroyer Vega's triangular shape actually gives it a bit of an advantage for offensive capability since all of its weapons are able to fire at once. While this other ship, only some of its weapons are able to fire because it's a more tubular shape. It is still trying to do its best here. You can see over here that the other battleship is now about to crash into the floor as everything is targeting it. And there it goes. Now all that's left is for these ships to focus on the carrier here, which is trying to stay low to avoid detection. And these two ships are definitely trying to stay low here. If this battleship isn't careful, it might actually just collide with the hill there. Which, for obvious reasons, is not a good thing. Now it's starting to get within even closer range here. This battleship is definitely going to collide with a hill here. There we go. But it's not a very fast collision, so it's not going to do much. Seems like the carrier here is starting to sink. It is taking a lot of damage from multiple angles. Definitely taking a lot of hit. He's starting to lose some of his larger atmospheric clusters, which is not good. Especially on this planet. Is the ship able to get back up? Because if not, then it's technically dead. I mean, it's still trying. It's slowly trying to get up, and it is slowly rising up, but it's not by much. It's not quite dragging along the floor. He just tapped it and then went up just a little bit. Actually, I just realized that Phantom that we thought was dead is actually still alive somehow. It is flying. Or at least trying to fly with whatever it has left. That's impressive. It's still trying to fight. Just slamming into the ground there, which is not good. There's still fighters all over the place trying to do whatever they can. That might have been the finishing blow there. In the meantime, this carrier here is still trying to hold on, I guess. And they're still firing away, trying to do whatever it can to both this battleship and the nearby frigates. And yet, this ship is still trying to stay alive. It's still flying. I think that was his last hydrogen tank. It seems like the other battleship over there is just trying to finish it off here. Yeah, this carrier is very much just laying on the ground, so it's not going to be flying anytime soon. Unless you want to sit here for half an hour watching it snipe things, it's not going to be going anywhere. So we're probably going to start tallying up the ships that are still alive, if we can. So obviously this battleship here is still alive. This battleship is probably not alive. Yeah, it definitely doesn't have the thrust to keep flying. Or at least I really doubt it does. All we have to do is just paste it on the ground and see if it goes up. If it goes up, it's alive. If it stays down, then it's pretty much dead. It is alive, somehow. Alright, what's next? This frigate. They're pretty much alive. I know that one's alive because it was flying around. These ones are just stuck in the ground here. I'm pretty sure they're alive. That one seems to still be alive. That one seems to still be alive. This one's on the ground, so I doubt it, actually. So yeah, still alive, and this one is still alive. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frigates still alive. Both battleships are still alive. And of course, fighters. As long as there's still 5 fighters in the air, that's fine. So let's see. There's 2 over here and 3 over here, so yeah. It appears that the Pirate Empire has no real casualties, actually. All of their ships are perfectly functional, at least, yeah. Aside from a few fighters, that's really it. I mean, this frigate is on the ground, but it is still capable of flight, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it is. So we're gonna go back to the board and update it. That was a complete failure on Delta Shipyards' part. But it was definitely a worthy attempt. Alright, so quite a few things happened here. So with Delta Shipyards failing to attack the pirates again, some things have happened. With that being their final turn, it became the pirates' turn, and well, the pirates, what they've decided to do, they've decided to move the fleet from their homeworld up to take over this world. Then they decided to move their fleet that was here on Pertam over here to be extra reinforcement. I guess they're going to take over both those planets simultaneously at some point. I don't know what their plan is there, or maybe they're planning to go up there. I don't know. Maybe they're just going to attack over there. And then they decided to take their fleet that was here and take over this planet here that was a part of the new Galactic Alliance. So now the Alliance only has this area over here. And well, the pirates have expanded a lot. I mean, their territory is just all this. Right now the pirates are actually the most powerful. The Federation used to be really powerful, but now they're just strung over here. So with that done, now it's up to the Great Red Sun Empire to figure out what they're going to do, and well, they want to take things a little bit easy here. And by easy I mean they're going to go and attack one of the other factions, specifically ones they have a bit of a grudge against. So they've decided to go down here and fight the Federation a bit. They're sending their fleet straight down here to attack a Triton-like planet. They're going to the ice flats here, and they're going to be taking on a fortress. So we're going to see how that goes. Alright, we are on Triton yet again, and well, here's a fortress. It's a simple, basic level 1 fortress. And we got the enemy fleet all over here. The Great Red Sun Empire has their corvette and some fighters, and they're going to try taking out that fortress. I don't know if they're going to do it that well, but we're going to see what they do. Now, since these ships are really fast, they should be able to try dodging those. That was actually really close. Yeah, they just need to move in and take out all those turrets to the best of their ability. So you can see they're already starting to get far enough in range here. That was a direct hit. Those missiles are going to be really dangerous for these fighters up here, so they need to be careful. I should be entering weapons range now. And with every shot, that ship is taking a lot of hits, but it's still moving. Those hits are doing a lot of damage to him. And now he's in a not so great position here. Well, it looks to me like the Federation just holds their position here. So yeah, the Great Red Sun Empire lost a fleet and the Federation stronghold held strong. We're going to go back to the board and update it. Alright, we're here at the end of the episode. The board has been updated, and this is actually everything that is going on at this point. So, taking a look at all the factions here, well, before we get to that, I'll just mention that the Great Red Sun Empire, they decided to use their other actions to just build a new fleet and move that fleet once within their own territory, so nothing interesting really happened over there. But if you look at the board here, the new Galactic Alliance on the right, specifically over here on this side, they only have 5 planets left, and they're just surrounded here by Federation and pirates. And it looks like the pirates are getting really strong and trying to focus on going upwards. That puts the Alliance in a lot of danger, and of course the Federation is also making moves to slowly go to the right, but it seems like the Federation is mostly have its own struggles with everything else. They've gotten a lot weaker and they're actually unable to make larger ships at the moment, which is why they made a bunch of fighters here. So that's kind of just their situation. Delta Shipyards over here, they mostly just have a feud with the pirates over here. They're not really focusing too much on the Great Red Sun Empire or the Federation right now, but they could move over in that direction if they really wanted to. They are making some preparations up here by making a new fleet. I'm assuming they're going to move up and try to take over more of the Great Red Sun Empire's territory. Or maybe they might be going after the Federation. I don't quite know just about yet. Pirate Empire over here, they're actually doing really well. Like I said, they're the largest faction right now. And they are expanding quite a lot. They've got this entire quadrant fully taken over. This quadrant is almost fully taken over. And they're kind of just slowly moving up, which is great. I mean, they have their entire territory here fully conquered, which is nice. Delta Shipyards in a similar bubble, but they need to move more to the right if they want to do that. The Great Red Sun Empire over here, they're doing okay, I guess. I mean, some of the factions are slowly starting to spread over into their areas, but right now, I guess most of their troubles are just the fact that a lot of their fleets are just stuck over here and then just slowly moving outwards. They have started making some fleets over here, so they might start expanding out from there, which might be a better option. But they do need to do something to protect their shipyard there if they want to continue expanding outwards. Maybe they could also find out what to do about taking over this unconquered planet there, if one of the other factions doesn't do it first. But yeah, that's about it for this episode. I really hope you guys have enjoyed. I did mention in the last episode, I am slowly working on Season 2 of the Drone Wars. I'm slowly working out the different issues and updates that are going to be happening here. There's going to be significantly more planets, and I'm also going to be inviting players like you guys to join in on the Drone Wars. So stay tuned for that. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and yeah, take care.